Bloop. Let's get the mic checked on while I remember. I remembered to put the Twitch chat thing on, but I forgot to do the mic check. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so been making a lot of improvements to the calculator. I can't remember if the collections UI was in on the last stream, but we've now got groups grouped into collections. So you've got all those around there, so I can just say, oh, there's my space elevator facility. So what I'm going to do today is see if this current set of features is workable. Is go over to one of the other facilities and put that in as a collection. I've made some performance, loading performance improvements as well. So the index page now no longer downloads the entire set of code, even though it's compressed with Brotli by Cloudflare. There's like somewhere in the range of 4 to 5 megabytes of data getting downloaded. So for the index page, we only want the content that's required for the index page, and that is currently that says 455 bytes. That's without the cached. Yeah, it's turned the disable cache off, right? 37.2 kilobytes. And DOM content loaded fires off in less than 100 milliseconds, which is like near instant, so yay. I've also put in a little progress bar up the top, which will probably barely render on Twitch, although it looks like in OBS. Yeah, it's rendering a little bit differently in OBS than it is in my browser. I did initially have the first load of a save file guarded by like a loading screen, but I felt like that gave the impression that it was like taking far too long to load, whereas having the UI be like there and interactable is like a good thing. One thing I haven't actually checked yet is whether the load dialog still works. So I'll just quickly check that. Yeah, there it goes, it still works. We've got a feature improvement in. This now shows like the remaining amounts of parts when we're flinging production around. I'm just going to wait for it to finish calculating so I don't have to wait for it to, you know, finish. There we go. So if I put in 10 in there, that knocks the available clearing gets down to 36, and we've got a shortfall of minus 10 by the time we get to the end, which means we would then go back in to the production amounts, 10 more, etc, etc. So let's like reload that so I'm starting from scratch. Alright, so this is kind of largely done. I'm at the point where I might be starting over, but I'm wanting to use the current save as like test data for the calculator. If I don't start from scratch, what I'll end up doing, like possibly end up doing, is just dismantling a whole bunch of stuff. But the instant I said that, I then thought to myself, I don't want to do that until I've got the drag and drop ability for switching pools around because reassigning what floor something's on seems like an uncomfortable prospect. So I could add these all in as one collection. But I'm not too sure about that. We'll just see how things go. But yeah. So we're gonna add a new collection, and there's like a UX bug I've got. If I add a new collection, it doesn't add a new pool, so it doesn't have anything to automatically switch to. Whereas like it needs improvement there, I think. So I'm gonna go main facility. Plates and frames. There's another bug. Let's put that on the list. I caught something similar to that earlier. Either I missed it on collections or I broke it again. Let's just update the to-do list. Let's see. Collections name does not update when editing. Is it only the first time, or is it every single time it's like that? Yeah, it's every single time. So we'll need to fix that. It's not a major impediment, but it's going to be an annoyance. Something I could do to address that is maybe put a like a force re-render button up the top. So put that on the to-do list. Got all this stuff to do. So we're going to do it in a similar style to the space elevator facility, so we should really add the warehouse floor in as a group, even though it's not going to have anything in it. Let's see, where are we? We want to add a new group. Because I've lost track of where the plus group button is. There should really be a plus group button next to the collection config. I thought there was one. Make sure there is a plus group button next to collection config button. Like, that's low priority stuff. I can like fix that shit later. Don't need to fix it live. Unattached production. Oh yes, that's a new thing as well. So all the unattached production goes in a little details element, just so it's always visible aside from, like, separate from the full pool display. So I need to add a new group. And that looks like it has the same issues with the render not triggering. Alright, so let's pop up in a dialog and close it again. Oh, is that not actually firing? Okay. That needs debugging. Live. I tested a whole bunch of stuff like the last few days as I've been like adding features and things. But it's clear there that not everything still works. Right, so we need to go into add new. So we're looking for add new group in the code. Does that fire off? Okay, so it does fire off. And it does appear like in the code it's appending groups, so I should have a bunch of groups being rendered here. Let's just add a number. Right, something funky's going on here. So if I click add group, I should have ID 15. Yeah. Okay, so evidently the code that I put in to separate the attached groups from the unattached groups has fallen over. So yeah, let's actually do some shit here. Also, to make a change from the previous thing, like demo stream, I'm actually going to share the code because I'm gonna be making it open source soon. So having stuff like on screen isn't as much of an issue. So I just need to add a window capture on here. Production planner UI. Okie dokie. So I need to add this as a new bug item. Let's see now. Unattached groups not displaying. Right, so let's update the to-do list. Okie dokie, that is going to be in this file. Unattached groups. Okay, so we've got, I think that's a getter. So if it has no groups, it's gonna, oh no, that's pools in group. Am I looking at the wrong thing, or have I copied and pasted the thing in the wrong place? Ah, it's unattached pools, yes, okay, never mind. Oh, that's the production plugin config dialog anyway. Right, so if I search for that, so it's groups not in collection. Okay, so I'm going to pop open the debugger because that looks right. So I don't know why it's not working. Oh, that's in state.ts. Yeah, I should probably put the debugger open as well. But one thing revealed at a time. Okay, so let's click this again. Okay, the return value of that getter is an array with 10 items in it. Right, okay. This is for pool switching buttons. Play again. Yeah, so there they are. So the pool switching buttons don't show because there's no pools in the group. It would seem that the latest way to fix this is by automatically adding a pool to a group, because then it'll show up as a unattached pool group thing. So yeah, let's go for fixing that. So we want calculator.ts, which is over here. Okay, add then show new pool. Does that return the pool? No, but it does have a to parameter. So I can call this dot add then show new pool. Fresh, is that condition now redundant? It is, so take it out. Why do I insist on trying to control tab back to something when it's in the same file? Right, so that should fix that. See, add new. I could do the same thing for add new collection while I'm here. Okay. Refactor this. So we're saying private add then show new group. Oop, spell it correctly. To collection. See if to, we want to say to dot items dot push fresh. And then if we pop up here, start add, then show new group to collection. And show new groups. Collections get a pool when added. Now the state format Underpinning all of this doesn't require this, so I'm not going to change the schema, because then it would then invalidate version 3 JSON shit. I might make a change in a later version, but then I would have to start implementing like proper upgrade code. The only upgrade code I've got between save file versions is I changed the name of a setting, and that was like a fairly trivial thing to add. Let's see. Fix. Attempting to fix issues with. It's not displaying. Newly added groups not displaying. Right, now while we've got the code open, we may as well pop into the configuration dialog code and find out why it's not working. Okay, so I need to pop one of them open just so I can get the correct thing to be looking at here, because there we go. Boop. Here we go. So it says save thing, config settings, collection, do the stuff. Says await next render. Well, we could put it on current render as well. So let's test this locally. Let's wait for that to finish building. Yeah, I did a couple of experiments over the weekend as well, just to see how the performance would be impacted by using different calculation types. And the performance isn't really improved enough to switch away from like the quadruple set that I've got at the moment, where I've got a big number handling like non-division stuff. It switches to fraction if you divide anything, which happens surprisingly often, even if you don't put like a division in. And then we've got intermediate like number wrapping around those two. So the other two types are the intermediary calculation and the deferred calculation. The intermediary calculation is the thing that handles all of the operand types, and then like resolves the calculation, so I don't have to add all of the cases in like, you know, huge chunk of code, like saying what to do with type conversion. And then the deferred one is the same thing, except it doesn't immediately resolve the value. So, for instance, if you're doing a production calculator and you're entering like a deferred, like a calculation string into an input, and it has no outputs, that's going to get deferred until it needs to get updated. So you can put all kinds of like crazy math in, and it won't like impact performance as much as it used to when it was being invoked immediately. Anyway, yes, let's load this up. So I'm going to pop this open, click on here, click on there, hit save. That immediately resolves. Huh. So apparently I have a little bit of a bug handling deferred updates. And if you stick full pool display off and hit switch collection, Yep. And then what I want to do is want to have an add new group button down here so I don't have to pop this open. So you don't want to end the config dialog changes. Oh yeah, that's needs fixing there. Right. Let's tackle this one before we get back to it. That's going to be in the template. What's the name? What's the name of that? Data action within switch active pool. That's what I want to look for. No, that's not what I want to look for. That's something else. Pool switching buttons. We want the one for groups. Only pool and group header. Crap. There's too many options to search for. Okay, let's open 2 copies of it. And just look for plus group, which is only in 2 places. Alright, so that button there just blanket adds it, which means I'm going to need data action with group, I think. Should already be accounted for. Yep, there we go. With group. Okay, so there's no handler for that one, so I'll need to add the handler here, or it'll just automatically work. No, that'll be with collection, that one. Dot collection. Okay, so where is my not mute attach production? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Add new thing. Oh, hang on a second. That's in the, that shouldn't be inside the pools.map. here we are down here. Do collection, HTML. Just copy and paste this for laziness. Data action with collection. Add new group. Collection ID. Add new group to collection blah de blah. Okay, that should magically work. Some twiddling time. I probably should cut down on some of the build steps when I know what things I've changed. Because I'm going to need to rerun that anyway. Once I've verified this works, because of the last step which syncs the dev folder to the dist folder and automatically removes any files, so I don't have to manually delete shit. Yep, there we go, the add group button. That button didn't do anything. Is it not firing or is it not rendering? I've got to turn VS Code off so you couldn't have seen that anyway. But yeah, there we've got the new button in there, but it doesn't seem to want to do anything. Doesn't seem to be firing. Did I mistype the thing? Data action with collection. So the action with collection handler should be firing off. Just check what line that handler's actually on. Right, 905. Bloop. That isn't firing either. Okay. Right, so what does the thing actually return for data action selector? So it's a data action with data with thing. So that's 164. Template, data action with collection. Ah, there we go. That'll fix it. There's an earlier version of the UI project that tried to infer what context actions were being taken in based on the DOM structure, and I just found that to not behave very performantly, because sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes it would be in one context, but I want it to be in a different context, so I've had to manually like put some stuff in. So switching to this approach where we say, like, rather than just say data action and then imply context, we say data action with thing, and then explicitly specify the context. Okay, so if I reload now, let me load that in and hit add group. Yeah, the handler's now firing. Well, the collection, the action handler's firing. Yeah, and then add new group fires off as well. And there we go, there's pool 49 being added to group 7. Oh, it's not been added to group 7, has it? What group is it in? No, it is in group 7. Okay, so yeah, that's a bit of a changed blindness issue that I've got going on there. Let's take the breakpoints out there. So these button selections, you know, there's a bit of a delay going on here because the calculator was running as well. So these buttons here are the switch to pool buttons, but what they're doing is they're showing the name of the. I don't know whether are they showing the name of the pool or are they showing the name of the group? Alright, that set of buttons there should be using the group name, I think. Maybe. Because I'm switching groups. Yeah, I've got a bit of a UI UX issue going on here. I'll figure out that problem later. But I'm going to commit this and push it up, so we need to pop back into VS Code. Let's delete the build directory. Add new group plus pool to collection. Spell it correctly. Oh, that's not actually done, that idea. That's not next to the config button. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, let's include that. Had intended to have it up here, but it also works down here because the idea with that one is that when you hit plus group, until you get to a point where you have like a ridiculous amount of groups, the new group button's going to be under. Oh, hang on a second, I'm doing that thing again where I'm forgetting the switch sources. Here we go. So when you hit plus group, unless you have that ridiculous number of groups in, your new group's going to be right under where you just clicked. Which may or may not be bad UI, UX nonsense stuff, but it works for me, so yeah. That's why we do it that way. So let's do a quick build. Checking DMs and things while that's building. only add a command in that skips the build step on the calculator code. Because if I haven't changed that during the dev cycle, it won't need rebuilding. There we go, so we're doing an update, so we are transferring 148 kilobytes of uncompressed files. So let me load this shit. So don't want to push me chances. Like, I could push this plus collection button and it would add the new pool. Because it's in the middle of a calculation cycle, I don't want to be tempting fate and seeing what happens. I did recently add code in which said, like, don't recalculate something which doesn't impact what you're currently recalculating. Like, when you first load it, it recalculates everything once, and then it recalculates impacted things again. Because, you know, production pools have outputs now. But I'm not sure what would happen to that logic if I put a new pool into the mix in the middle of it. So, yeah. Right. We want the configure collection button to show when viewing a pool. So I want to amend my to-do list. Ensure configure collection, configure group buttons are visible when not in full pool display mode. So I'm going to have to pop that open first. Alright, so what would we call it? Main facility plates and frames. Of course, I can't configure the group from down there, so I'm going to have to find where I put the button for that. That's all the way down there. Why is it all the way down there? That's highly irritating. The warehouse floor. So I'm putting this in to account for future development. One of the things that's on the to-do list is to add support for sending contents to sync, and then see how much like pool like coupon points you can get from that production pool. Now inside this floor we have the awesome sync, which you know, has all the storage and then overflows everything. So I think what I need to do is add a pool-esque type for spell for correctly for warehousing. That lets you define storage containers and what goes in them. So the idea with that is, if I define a floor as like being for like warehouse and syncing and stuff, then I'd say this group of production is a warehouse type whatever, So all of the iron plates from upstairs come down here, filter into these two, and then overflow to the sink. So you could use that information to say you are producing this many iron plates a minute, you've got this much spare from just your general production rate, and then yet once those outputs are backed up, your storage containers will fill up at this, like, such and such a rate, and then once, like, they'll be full after so many minutes, hours, whatever, and then you'll start getting this many pints a minute. I've actually checked the coupon levels recently. 600. So, yeah, this is one of the reasons why I do actually play Satisfactory while I'm developing this calculator, because I am, like, thinking up ways of implementing features that I wouldn't have considered had I just been doing things off a to-do list. I would have just said, "I'll send that shit to an awesome sync." Whereas what I can do now is, I'd say, send that to storage, but then to sync as well. So anyway, we've got that. Now we need to add groups for each of these floors. So we're going to add... well, we're going to change the name of this. Placeholder for storage / syncing. And that's going to be fuse modular frames. There's a thought. New feature idea. Ability to configure textures associated with collections, groups, pools in a similar fashion to how one can configure signs in game. Because for the fuse modular frame group here, I could be having that represented, but like in quite more condensed views with the fuse modular frame icon. Okay, next group. Heavy modular frame. Modular frame. Reinforced iron plates. And then iron plates. Okay, let's do this floor. Now, how many production pools have we got going on here? It looks like a big giant mess. Okay, so we've got this thing over here. What is this doing? This is making casings. So that'll be one production pool. that's going up into here. We've got. Let's see. Do we do that as a combined production pool or separate production pools? Let me do them as separate production pools because they're separate manifolds. So what we want here is this is going to be aluminium casing. And then we're going to have 2 more pools. Need to show actual pool buttons for current group below the collection group buttons. Need to show current group pool buttons below collection group pool buttons. So this set of buttons, let's see, where's the blooming mouse is at? There we go. So this set of buttons here is the first pool in each group. And what I really want to have is when I click on this button, I want to see all of the pools inside that, which would then mean I could change the name of these buttons to represent the actual groups. See, collection group pool buttons to use group name. There we go. So let's pop this open so I can see shit. So pool 55. This is to storage. And this is where things get complicated, because the way the UI works at the moment, and the way, like, if I just added like 2 storage stuff, if I added warehouse floors, the way the UI works at the moment, there'd be no way to say overflow production to like of this pool to storage automatically. What you'd have to do is put it in as a separate production flinging thing, and then it will just handle whatever it's given up to that point. So you have to explicitly set those in, rather than just saying, ticking a checkbox saying overflow back to warehouse what's it. So that one's to storage. And then that one's to turbo motors. To turbo motors. Let's see. Maybe consider a Explorer-esque tree view for collections and pools in a sidebar. Because if I had a because what I'm thinking here basically is with that occurrence is, if I had something like this layout, I'd be able to, well, it wouldn't be like this layout because it'd be single pane. So rather than having the full pool display mode, you would have the collections and groups and pools in a sidebar, rather than having it like being a single column thing. I think that would probably be like a big jump in user experience improvements, because there wouldn't be as much scrolling up and down, because you'd have like more information. Excuse me, you'd have more information on screen at once. It would, however, make the mobile experience worse. I mean, it's already pretty terrible because someone popped the calculator open on like an iPad something, and because I don't have Apple hardware to test on, hadn't even thought how it would look on that device. It kind of looks like arse, because I'm using default button styling. The default button styles look weird as hell. The padding on the dialogues kind of hogs the screen. Like, this really is a desktop site at the moment. I'm not even sure if like Skim's mobile compatible once you get past a certain point. But we'll see what happens. Where was I? So 2 turbo motors, there we go. So we've got those pools set up. So we've got these amounts out here. So if I go to... not that one. Oh yeah, actually I can show off a new feature. I've got rewind and fast forward buttons. I haven't applied it to the history API yet, but you can easily go back to like recently interacted with pools. So now that I've added those in, I can just go backwards and forwards without having to pop open the full pool display. Alright, so we've got this thing in, so we want to add in fuse modular frames. Yeah, we've got parts shown as default now, so I don't have to click on it all the time. So we've got 1.5. And which recipe are we using? Yep. So because we don't have these floors set up yet, this ingredients list has like everything in that we need, like possibly. We went through this with the space elevator facility, which, yeah, you can see from here. As outputs get configured, that ingredients list will shrink down, and eventually the only things that should be on it is the stuff that's on the signs here. I mean, for completion purposes, what I could do is I could add in a thing saying I've got 2 blenders in, but we've already built the thing. Let's go the aluminium casing. How many casing are we making according to the signage? 168.75. And we're making alclad casing. Looks like I've accidentally got a double click thing going on with the production buttons. Looks like production adding requires 2 clicks. I can test that, but I don't want to. I can go over here and test that. So if I click 2... oh, is it only when I do search? Yeah, only when I've got search open. When search filter is applied. So it doesn't obey the first click, but it does obey the second click. Anyway, yes, numbers, things, stuff. So we've got 168.75 of Alclad casing. And we want to send 75 to storage production. And we've got 93.75 available, which lines up with what we're asking for here. And we've got no more available there. But what we could do is, like if I get this syncing feature added, is I would go in saying, oh look here, let's select the sync, and then we put in the full amount being produced, like being sent to this manifold, as going to the sync, and then if there's any remaining after that, like if we change the numbers around, they'll automatically get sunk. We might not have it set up here, but in a lot of places we do have a return loop added. Yes, we don't have it set up here, which I actually could set it up now. So we do... Oh no, wait, we do have it set up. It's set up there. It's just got that on it because it's a low level of production thing. So yeah, return loop says when this backs up, ship stuff into the same output lane as this. And it does suggest that if this was making casings, that I've got the wrong belt speed on. Should I add a thing on saying what belt speeds I need like for different outputs? Let's add that to the list. Maybe add hints for belt speeds needed for different outputs. Now when I do open source these, I'm going to like put them into the appropriate area on GitHub's like task planner thingy. But for now, all the to-do list items are going into that markdown file. Anyway. There we go. If we switch back to that pool, to storage, so all of the bauxite shit is should have shifted off. It might need to manually trigger a recalculation. Is that a bug or is that intended behaviour? I've got to find this out now. Because the previous behaviour I observed is that would have disappeared off the ingredients list. So I'm just going to do a quick save. Because a full reload just recalculates everything. It still does the check of like what impacts other stuff afterwards. So unless that's broken as well, my stuff should be fixed. Just wait for that progress bar to pop over. Right. Yes, there is probably a bug in the recalculation code. Possible bug in recalculation code. Adding outputs and closing dialog did not trigger ingredients are all in other pool to be hidden. Oh, that's a bug, not an idea. Two turbo motors. Yeah, those casings there as well. Okie dokie, next floor. Okay, so it looks like we have one manifold doing steel, another manifold doing pipe. Is that meant to be unplugged? I don't think it's meant to be unplugged. I mean, if I'd intended those to be unplugged, I should have turned the machines off. Or, you know, physically disconnected them from power. So, yeah, steel ingots, pool, steel pipes, pool, case industrial beams, pool, and finally the HMF pool. So that's going to be straightforward. So I think I've got enough of me to-do list, and I've been streaming for an hour, that I'm going to take a break now. That's one of the things I'm trying to do at the moment is give up caffeine, and my concentration's starting to flag. So, you know, I kind of don't want to be pushing myself too much. So I'm going to update that in the save files. So with calc. And then without calc. Just them two updated. So yeah, that's going to be off now. I might be on later today. I'm just going to take a break away from the computer. To avoid the temptation to caffeinate, and then get some of those IDs and bugs done before possibly streaming again later tonight. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.